On the heels of an Elimination Chamber premium live event that saw Rhea Ripley and Randy Orton earn their way to title matches at WrestleMania 42, Monday Night Raw hit the Netflix airwaves live from Indianapolis with the return of Roman Reigns. What did the OTC have to say when he took to the squared circle for the first time since choosing World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk as his opponent at the showcase of the Immortals? Find out with this recap of last night's show, including ratings and analysis for each of the night's top matches and segments. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Monday Night Raw last night, live from the Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we started it off with the Vision. Fueled by fury and vengeance, Paul Heyman, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory interrupted the proceedings and threatened to hold the show hostage until Seth Rollins appeared. Instead, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce claimed there would be no holding the show up and said he needed to have a conversation with Rollins, who had yet to be physically cleared for competition. Several mass decoys appeared, grabbing the Vision's attention and leaving the Oracle alone long enough for the Visionary to blast him with a steel chair and deliver a curb stomp to the approval of the fans. This was a hot start to the show that felt relevant and urgent. Putting Rollins in the opening segment was the right call and gave us one of the biggest stars on the show right on the heels of a big return on ESPN. The crowd erupted for the Architect, further proving they never really wanted to boo him in the first place upon his heel turn last spring. The use of the hooded masked men to draw Theory and Paul's attention was clever fun, and the reveal of Rollins was extraordinarily done. And that's really all I can honestly say about it. So this was a great way to start off the show. So not much more. MF, Seth Rollins in the same building where he turned on the Shield back in 2014, sticks the dagger in the back of Paul Heyman, chair shot, curb stomp. Rollins is back in a big way, and oh my goodness, Rollins. Oof. My goodness. I mean, what a way to start it off there, guys. What a way to start it off. So, all right. MF.
Yeah, what a way to start it off. It was a sneaky attack by Seth freaking Rollins. And yeah, the fans were eating it up. I know you guys were enjoying every minute of that beatdown more than anything else. And it was a shrewd move. Because you had the distraction that was made by Seth freaking Rollins that opened the door for him to do what he had to do. So it was a smart move on their part to have him do the sneaky move and the sneak attack, and it worked. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say here. Like you said, red hot start from Monday Night Raw, and Michael Bullock, it's all yours, brother.
Yeah, like you said, this was a hot start, and like you said, I mean, how ironic that this happened in the same place when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield, and now he does it again. Only this time, it was to the Vision, and basically getting some payback from when they turned on him. So now the question is, what's up next for Seth Rollins? I mean. So we'll find out so there's really nothing more for me to say. So it's yours, Florio.
All right. Just bear with me for one moment as I look for because I want to make sure that a certain announcement from yesterday gets properly addressed, and I want to make sure we're in the correct order here. So All right. All right. It's after this. Okay. We're going to
Okay.
start it off with our first match of the night. And it was the Ring General, Gunther, squaring off against Dragon Lee. Gunther wins the match. Roughly 6 minutes of on-air time. The match was obviously a lot longer than that. So
Yeah.
I'll try to get a proper time. They went by
It
on-air
was.
time.
It was. Yeah. It honestly, Anthony, it had been almost 9 to 10 minutes because one of the commercials I remember on Netflix was a 3-minute commercial, so it had
Usually
to be
is.
over. It's normally this had to been at least 10 or 11 minutes at least. So 6 minutes plus the 3, that's 9. Plus
12:22.
whatever with the
I
entrance.
found it.
There you
found it.
go. That was
12:22.
about right. Yeah, that was about right. So
NMF
Gunther
Gunther wins, but he did the one thing you don't like. He took the mask off.
Yeah, he did. But the thing was, any other time when the mask comes off, I flip out. You know the rant. You know how I go because you know what that means for Lucha Libre wrestling. But in Gunther's character, this was absolutely necessary. He had to do that. Why? Because that's his attitude. He totally will disrespect you and doesn't give a damn how he does it. It doesn't matter about morality. It doesn't matter about whatever it is. You know, that's his MO. He didn't give a damn about retiring Goldberg. He didn't give a damn about retiring John Cena. Didn't give a damn about retiring AJ Styles. He doesn't give a damn about Dragon Lee that yes, I ripped your mask off. What are you going to do about it? Too bad, so sad, sorry, not sorry. That's Gunther's ammo. So what does that do? It just brings more nuclear heat to him. It makes us more angrier that he did that. But then again, all Gunther's going to do is laugh in our faces and says, what are you three losers going to do about it? There ain't a damn thing we can. So, I mean, look, that's how it goes. Solid matchup. Yeah, I hated the ending, but it was very necessary because that is typical Gunther, as you know. That's exactly how he would play the character. So now it's just who's going to stop him. That's the big question. We'll see, but yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So Mike Bullock, this is about a 3-star bout. I could go higher, but again, I'm going to punish it because of what he did. So it's yours.
Yeah, same way, 3 stars. I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah, I mean, Gunther at this point, I mean, we can get upset at him with some of the despicable things and disrespectful things he's done, but as part of his character, he's like, what are you going to do about it? Well, the thing is, if either one of the 3 of us tried to do something about it, he'd probably put us to freaking sleep. And he would laugh at our faces too and say, I hope your family, you know what, maybe your family should be disgraced at raising a son like you. So, yeah, he doesn't give a damn. And, well, I think there's one person, guys, that I think could take offense to this.
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, because where is this going, guys, with this? I mean, Gunther retires Goldberg. He retires John Cena. He retires AJ Styles. Could Rey Mysterio be next?
Could the mask be on? Could the mask be a factor?
It could be, because the thing is, I mean, Rey Mysterio is. I mean, he probably has that same pride like everyone else does when it comes to Lucha Libre. So that's the way I see it. And maybe at WrestleMania,
he's a rumored opponent.
We'll see. We'll see where this leads. But that's where I see this going. What says you, Florio, as I give it to you?
I heard 3 I heard a rumor about 3 possible opponents for Gunther at WrestleMania: Rey Mysterio, Oba Femi,
Mm-hmm.
and Brock
Mm-hmm.
Lesnar.
Now that's the matchup I think everybody wants to see because remember, I think it was the 2023 Royal Rumble. I think that's what it was
Yeah.
where
Gunther,
these two
Gunther and
were,
Lesnar squared off, but the
but they
rumbling for Brock right now is Oba.
Yeah.
Oba and
They,
Brock
they,
is the heavy rumor.
they want to, yeah. They want to do Oba and Brock. That's the rumor going around.
and then maybe Gunther and
Gunther
Rey
and Rey.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
Now
I
that would be a
mean, it's
fresh matchup.
possible.
I would love to
Yeah.
see.
Ray and Gunther's never faced off. But then again, we've never had Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. And I know a lot of people were clamoring for that match for a couple of years. And
Until Oba came
Oba
along.
versus and then Oba and Gunther. Oh, I don't know. That could go either way. I mean, because both of them are red hot right now. So I don't know.
Mhm.
That could be an interesting fight.
But let me get into my thoughts on the match. With all due respect, gentlemen, I think you underscored it just a little bit. I'm giving this 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4. Dragon Lee looked fantastic here, hanging in there with a competitor widely considered one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet and never looking out of his realm. The intensity in this one escalated exponentially late. The crowd was into all of it, and the result was an even better match than we had seen to that point. The finish, with Gunther removing Dragon's mask to expedite the submission, was extraordinary. A stellar conclusion to a great match. 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4 of a star. All right. We're going to take a break from the action a little bit because we have to address the big announcement that came out yesterday. A little after 10 o'clock yesterday morning, our own Michael Bullock reported this in our Talking Wrestling TXN News and Views Messenger chat. News that us wrestling fans have been waiting for what seemingly feels like forever.
And we can say about this, Florio, it's about damn time.
You damn right. Because we announced, and they did not waste any time, WWE announcing the newest inductees. Yes, I said inductees into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame, joining Stephanie McMahon and AJ Styles, as announced in a short social media video. All-time hero, his man, the Phenom, the Undertaker. They did like a FaceTime thing there, and he made the announcement. Axe and Smash of Demolition will finally, and I do mean finally, will take their rightful, long overdue place in the WWE Hall of Fame. They are finally
about
in.
Damn time these two got in.
Bullock, we'll start it with you, but before we do, let me run down their resume. Here's the thing. You remember last week? You remember the lengthy, and I do mean lengthy, resume of AJ Styles?
It
Well,
was a lot. Yes.
Well, this one not as lengthy, but here it is. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling Tag Team Champions, 1 time. Keystone State Wrestling Alliance Tag Team Champions, 1 time. Legends Pro Wrestling, inducted into the XWF/LPW Hall of Fame class of 2008. Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked them number 59 of the 100 best tag teams during the PWI years in 2003. POWW Entertainment, 1-time tag team champions. 1-time United States Extreme Wrestling tag team champions. Universal Superstars of Wrestling Tag Team Champions one time. They were known as Axe and Blast. And finally, where they were the most successful in WWE, 3-time co-holders of the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship. You may have remembered Crush, Brian Adams. He joined the team midway through their third reign. And last but certainly not least, as announced by The Undertaker, these two men will finally take their rightful place into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2026, joining Stephanie McMahon and the phenomenal AJ Styles. The ceremony will take place on Friday night, April 17th, the night before WrestleMania. It's a good news, bad news situation. The good news is, well, for those of you in Vegas and on the West Coast, you got an early start time. You're starting this thing at 9 o'clock. The bad news is for us here on the East Coast, we're talking a midnight start time, boys. Just like they did last year. So, in the immortal words of
I've been
MF,
told,
yep.
From what I've been told, they're limiting it to at least a 2-hour show. So here's the thing:
cool.
Axe and Smash Demolition is going to get about between 30 minutes. I think they're getting about 30 minutes of time. AJ Styles will have 30 minutes of time. Stephanie McMahon is the headliner. She will get 1 hour. And that's what I've been told. So it looks like this might be the way it's going to go. I don't think they're going to be pushing it too long because of what happened last year, because it was a 4-hour slog. That sucked last year. And trust me, I was up the 4 hours. I was literally burning the midnight oil.
You were up all night. Basically. A la D-Generation X. Well, there was a good reason because, well, your man, Triple H, was the headliner 1 year ago. And I know how badly you wanted to see his speech. So, and
yes,
you did. But, well, not all of us made it. You know, we were all tired out from a long SmackDown on top of it.
Everybody else was all tapped out. But I soldiered it. I soldiered through,
yes,
so I made it all the way to the end. So I got to represent Talking Wrestling TXN, man. That's how I roll. So as EP, I gotta earn my stripes. That's how I earn it.
Of course, absolutely. So a midnight start time on the night before WrestleMania here on the East Coast. So like MF and Triple H once said years ago, I hope you brought your gear because we're going to be in for a long night. So just like we were a year ago. So not much more. Michael Bullock, it's only fitting that you start this off because you were the one who broke this most exciting news yesterday. So at long last, after years of tension and legal battles over the name for so many years, at long last, Demolition will finally take their long overdue and rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame, joining Stephanie and AJ.
Yeah, and some were thinking, like, was this ever going to happen because of all those things? And looks like it was settled, and now these two are finally taking their rightful place where they belong in the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, one of the most successful tag teams in WWE. I mean, they've won the tag team titles. I mean, they've had some legendary battles, especially with the Legion of Doom. And yeah, you had Axe and Smash, and then Crush, of course, basically joining them as the third member. And man, I mean, they're definitely one of the most accomplished tag teams in WWE. I mean, of course, they were once managed by Mr. Fuji, another Hall of Famer, and I'm just so happy that these two are going to get their moment. I mean, I mean, believe me, Florio, as I give this to you, I mean, as you just talked about it, and there were times I thought, Florio, that they were never going to get in because of all those things you mentioned. But
Absolutely.
it looks like it got settled, and now they're going to get their moment in the Hall of Fame as they should.
The main problem was, for so many years, there were a lot of legal issues and the whole 9 yards, and a lot of it was with Vince. I mean, Vince McMahon. A lot of issues, obviously, a lot of legal issues because of the name and the whole 9 yards. But at least, but what really, honestly, sealed the deal was was about a year or so ago when they signed that Legends deal with WWE. When they signed that Legends deal, it was only a matter of time. They're like, now that they've signed this Legends deal,
it wasn't a matter of
in.
if; it was just a matter of when.
I think it was too little, too late last year. If they had gotten it done a little beforehand, I think last year would have been the moment. But they got it done. I think it was just before the Hall of Fame last year. So,
and
but
I don't know
nonetheless,
about you guys, and Florio, you and I have talked about this.
yes.
I mean, the Undertaker is sort of like becoming what David Baker was with the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Because he did it
for
with
all
Stephanie McMahon at WrestlePalooza, announcing that she was going in, and then last week
on Raw,
he announced that AJ Styles was going to go in, and now via FaceTime or whatever those things are, he announced that Demolition was going in.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just has that feeling that it's like the Undertaker is going to is the David Baker of when it came to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but this is for the WWE Hall of Fame.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if this is his role now.
I think it will be, because if you really think about it, he is the executive producer for AAA during the AAA shows on Saturdays.
Head of creative.
He is actually executive producer. He is head of creative in AAA. And now he is actually the guy who probably, he's the subordinate. Triple H, we obviously know Triple H is the one that makes the call about who goes into the Hall of Fame. The only one that he did not call was his own, because Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker were the ones that made that call. So it was, that's the committee that normally handles it. So Triple H probably was like, you know what? Taker, call Demolition, let them know they're in. So I think that's why. So yeah, I mean, Taker's the one that's going to be given the good news. Well deserved. And Anthony, you even said it. It was because of the drama with McMahon. If it wasn't for that, maybe Demolition would be in there a long time ago. But there was some genuine they had some genuine animosity between Demolition and Vince, and that's why it took this long of a time for them to get. But Anthony, go ahead. I'll let you talk about those details.
I finally had the details here. Demolition had a contentious long-term legal dispute with WWE following their 1991 departure, primarily involving a 1992 lawsuit alleging breach of contract, fraudulent misrepresentation, and ownership of the Demolition gimmick. The case settled in 1997, largely in WWE's favor, and then Demolition also joined a concussion lawsuit back in 2016. But this was the big one right here. This was what really did it. Axe and Smash fought WWE over the rights to the Demolition name and gimmick, which WWE claimed under their booking agreements. The duo sued Vince. This duo sued Vince McMahon for breach of contract, conversion, and wrongful termination after leaving the company. And then they were also part of they also joined a class action lawsuit against WWE regarding long-term brain injury, CTE, which was dismissed in 2018. Due to these, they were long excluded from the WWE Hall of Fame. Despite the past, they signed Legends deals with WWE in 2025 and then finally announced for the Hall of Fame this year. The legal battles and subsequent long-lasting animosity from WWE management prevented the team from receiving accolades for many years. And now that all that gratuitous BS is finally out of the way, these guys, long overdue. I mean, what is there to say that hasn't been said already about these guys? I mean, these guys were a part of our childhood. I mean,
Yep.
growing up, I mean, they made their debut January of '87. Believe it or not, there was another guy. There was another guy in the role of Smash before Barry Darsow took over. I believe his name was Randy Colley, I think his name was. But Bill Eadie, who was Axe, he was there from day one. And when they first came, they were not managed by Mr. Fuji at first. They were managed by Luscious Johnny V. Luscious Johnny Valiant. It lasted for, a good few months in '87, and then they made the call. They pivoted from Luscious Johnny V to Mr. Fuji, and then the rest was history after that. They took off after that. And the fans just got so behind them, even though they were monster badass heels. They were getting pops, they were getting cheers. The fans were really into them, and that's why they did that infamous double turn at the 1988 Survivor Series with the Powers of Pain, as we all remember. And that led to Mr. Fuji dumping Demolition and going with the Powers of Pain. And it led to that infamous 3-on-2 handicap match at WrestleMania 5, where Demolition successfully defended the tag team titles against them. But here's the official statement. One of the greatest tag teams of all time will make history once again as Axe and Smash of Demolition enter the WWE Hall of Fame as members of the class of 2026 as announced by The Undertaker. 2 words describe the ultimate goal of Demolition: pain and destruction. Clad in black leather and spikes, Axe and Smash steamrolled into WWE from parts unknown in the late 1980s and made it painfully clear that they were going to demolish any team that stood in their path. The pair bulldozed through the tag team division and captured the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania 4 with a victory over Strikeforce, Rick Martel and Tito Santana, starting one of the most iconic title reigns in history. Axe and Smash dominated WWE as champions for the next 478 days, a record that stood for 28 years until it was surpassed by the New Day's 484-day reign from SummerSlam 2015 to the Roadblock End of the Line pay-per-view in 2016. Synonymous with tag team greatness, Axe and Smash now enter the Hall of Fame, where their legacy will live forever. And absolutely it will. I mean, where do we even start when it comes to the rivalries they had? I mean, Strikeforce, the British Bulldogs, the Hart Foundation. I mean, their match with the Hart Foundation, that 2 out of 3 falls match, SummerSlam 1990, pretty much the only bright spot on what was one of the worst SummerSlam shows of all time. And then the Powers of Pain. I mean, that was one of my favorite rivalries. A rivalry that I was kind of hoping to get a little more out of, that unfortunately didn't really take off like they were hoping it would. The Legion of Doom. I mean, when the LOD came in, I mean, a lot of people said that it should have been Demolition and the LOD at WrestleMania 7. Could you have imagined if it had been those two at WrestleMania 7 instead of those blech matches they got put in? Demolition, Smash and Crush going up against Tenaru and Katao, and Legion of Doom with that epic 1-minute squash of Power and Glory. I mean, man, oh man, it's just what could have been. I mean, they did have some run-ins, yes. SummerSlam, LOD cost them the titles in that match against the Hart Foundation. They did have some interaction in the Survivor Series of 1990 in that opening match with the Warriors and the Perfect Team, where LOD and Demolition got themselves disqualified for brawling in the ring, and the referee threw it out. But nonetheless, they were the best tag team that had yet to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and the impact that they had on our childhoods. I mean, myself, my brother, MF, and Bullock, and all of us who grew up who have been watching wrestling since we were kids. I mean, since I was a little kid, MF was a little kid, Bullock was a little kid. So many of us here in the IWC and around the world. This team right here was the be all end all of the tag team division. I mean, like I said, the dominance that they had, the legendary rivalries they had, and they captured the hearts and imaginations of all of us wrestling fans. And I mean, I had a busy day at the job, and when I finally had some time to myself, I noticed that Bullock was trying to call me yesterday, but I had a busy day at the office. But I did get the message as I sat down to lunch, and when I saw that Demolition was going in to the Hall of Fame, I can't tell you how full my heart was. That made my heart so full, so happy, and I couldn't contain my excitement in our messenger chat. And F yeah, man, F yeah, about damn time. And it's a shame that, all that drama prevented them from getting into the Hall of Fame, much sooner. But as the old saying goes, better late than never. And congratulations on behalf of all of us here at Talking Wrestling TXN. We want to extend our heartfelt congratulations to Bill Axe Edie and Barry Smash Darso on their long overdue and finally well-deserved rightful inclusion into the WWE Hall of Fame. I cannot wait for their speech, man. I mean, this class is shaping up, man. I mean, Stephanie McMahon, AJ Styles, and now Demolition. I'm sure there's going to be more down the line. I don't think it's going to be just these few. I'm sure there'll be more down the road, but this one here, I mean, don't get us wrong. We're all happy for Stephanie. I mean, especially me, because of my love affair with her, obviously. And of course, we were all happy about the Phenomenal One. But this is the one that hits close to home for us. I mean, we grew up with these guys. These guys were one of the many, many parts of our childhood, and we all could, and we're all over the moon, and we all couldn't be happier. So, congratulations, Demolition! About damn time, gentlemen, and we cannot wait to see your speech. And hopefully, it will not be too late that night when we get there. But I'm gonna. Like MF gutted it out for Triple H, I'm most assuredly going to gut it out for these guys right here. So there's not much more to say. MF, Axe and Smash, Demolition, joining Stephanie McMahon and AJ Styles in the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. About dang time, and the impact they had on your childhood.
Dude, it's legendary. I started watching wrestling in about 1998, and this was right at the height of their babyface turn. This was right around the same.
98.
I said 88.
I think you meant 88.
No, I did say 88.
Oh, okay. I must have heard it differently. I thought it
sure?
came out as 98. I'm sorry.
No, I said 88. And I will openly admit, I mean, yeah, this was a great moment, and it was long overdue. I think a lot of people thought that they were going to be one of the very first ones to get into the Hall of Fame, and I think a lot of people thought that they should have been one of the first ones as far as the greatest tag teams of our time. And I was worried that one of these original members were going to pass away and we weren't going to get the full Demolition crew together. But everybody knows that even though Crush was part of Demolition, we all know it was Action Smash. That is the true Demolition. The question now becomes is who's going to induct them into the Hall of Fame? Like, who's going to be the ones that are going to put them in to induct them? We all know with AJ, it could be anybody. Triple H is most likely going to be inducting Stephanie. I think that's pretty obvious. As far as who does AJ,
John Cena.
You could pick anybody.
The rumor going around,
is it,
Bullock mentioned that John Cena is the rumored guy.
Oh wow. Well, I mean,
news to you, huh?
If it is, that'd be great. That'd be cool. That'd be cool if it's Cena. Like I said, who's it gonna be for Demolition? I don't know.
I have a name out of right field. Sure. I got a name out of right field. Jimmy Hart.
Ooh.
Because of the fact, remember SummerSlam 88, when the very first SummerSlam, Demolition and the Hart Foundation squared off, and Jimmy Hart had just turned on the Hart Foundation and aligned himself with the Rougeau brothers, and he actually came out with Demolition and Mr. Fuji as a quote-unquote special advisor. So, and with Fuji passed on, obviously, he passed away. LOD passed away. But two possibilities, Jimmy Hart, or if you really want to get the nostalgia factor, how about one of their greatest all-time rivals in the Powers of Pain? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, can they do it, though? Will they be able to get them?
They just joined social media, the Powers of Pain did.
I mean, possible. You never know. Yeah. I mean, whatever the case may be, we'll find out. But yeah, like you said, Anthony, long overdue, legendary tag team, one of the greatest tag teams of our generation.
Absolutely.
I mean, them, the LOD, Powers of Pain, those were the teams that kind of led the way in the early era of the World Wrestling Federation. Strike Force with Rick Martel and Tito Santana.
Killer Bees.
Yeah. The Killer Bees. The British Bulldogs. Hart Foundation. You name it. These were the teams that really kind of paved the way for that next generation of great talent. And yeah, I'm so happy. For me, this was a young kid's dream to see Demolition finally go into the Hall of Fame, and it's long overdue. So yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
My God, I can't wait for that speech, man. That's going to be something. I can't wait. All right. Let's see where we got so caught up in Demolition fever there. Let's continue on here and see where we left off from that. I believe next up was after that epic announcement, AJ Lee, the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. AJ Lee, she hit the ring to discuss her win over Becky Lynch at Elimination Chamber. She credited the fans with believing in her all the way through her title win and vowed to be a fighting champion. She promised to defend the title the next time she was in the ring against any one of the women she mentioned when she returned from her decade-long hiatus. To wrap things up, she simply said, "Ladies, show me what you got." AJ Lee comes across as likable and natural, so it is no surprise that an entire new generation of WWE fans have flocked to her in a way their siblings, mothers, fathers, and other elders did when she was dominating the women's division. The open challenge shtick feels repetitive, given how frequently we see it on SmackDown with Carmelo Hayes in the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. But if it results in fun matches with the likes of, say, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, Asuka, and more, then it is a booking crutch that we will happily endure. And it was announced that next week on Monday Night Raw in Seattle, that there will be a 6-woman gauntlet match. A 6-woman gauntlet match. And the winner of this will get the first shot at AJ Lee and the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And in that gauntlet match, in no particular order, it will be Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley versus Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Asuka and versus Ivy Nile. Those 6 women will battle it out in a gauntlet next week in Seattle. And the winner of that match will get the first shot at AJ Lee and the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So we'll see how that plays out. Then we had the original El Grande Americano squaring off against Rayo Americano with the other El Grande Americano and Bravo. And the original, the OG El Grande Americano wins the match, roughly 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Competitive match, befitting the talent involved. And the current El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser, he's mega over in Mexico. MF could tell you that, but is presented as the heel in this story stateside. How WWE will present that on AAA television in the coming weeks as the two gear up for a high-stakes matchup remains to be seen, but it is certainly an interesting booking conundrum. And we all know who should be on the WrestleMania card, Chad Gable. Good enough match. All it did was confirm that this feud is nowhere near as hot as Kaiser's Americano is in Mexico. Wrapping it up and moving on would likely be best for all involved. Best I can go is maybe 3 1/4. So not much more. MF, OG El Grande over Rayo in roughly 10-20. Quick thought.
And you absolutely hit the nail on the head about the conundrum that they had, because yes, Ludwig Kaiser, El Grande Americano is super over, and the OG El Grande Americano, the Chad Gable, is booed, like mercifully booed from the crowd in Mexico. So they made their choice. They rather prefer the Ludwig Kaiser version of El Grande Americano instead of Chad Gable's version of El Grande Americano in Mexico. So Ludwig Kaiser is more over in Mexico. So if they do a mask versus mask, if they do that fight, mask versus mask, there is a legitimate chance that maybe Ludwig goes over and beats Chad Gable, and that Chad Gable will be unmasked first to signify that end of that storyline. So who knows? 3 stars, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give this about 3 1/4 as well. I mean, a solid match, and this is going to lead somewhere down the line with the original Grande Americano against Ludwig Kaiser's El Grande Americano. So we'll see how it plays out. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
All right. Let's see. And then after that, there was some vignettes and backstage videos and backstage stuff there. And then Rusev hops on the announce table and calls out Oba Femi, tired of hearing about the ruler and his recent successes. The former NXT champion answered. The two brawled, with Femi getting the best of Rusev with a big spine buster. Oba was outstanding here. The crowd was completely behind him and reacted as he fired up, fending Rusev off, and stood tall like the badass future WWE champion that he is. And next week, gentlemen, you ready for a Be a Man fight? Oba Femi versus Rusev next week in Seattle. What do we say about matches like this, Monsoon?
these matches are going to be something else, and on top of that, you better reinforce that goddamn ring.
Mm-hmm. Those were the words.
And what would Sheamus say?
Banger.
It's
After
a banger.
banger.
That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a banger.
It's gonna be one hell of a be a man fight. I will tell you that right now, guys.
I'm amped, man. I'm amped. I can't wait for this one.
You and me both. I think we're all in agreement on that one. All right. Jimmy Uso versus Austin Theory. Jimmy Uso wins the match via disqualification. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Obviously, by default, this is the worst fight of the night. We could call like NA on this. I mean, this is something we don't really need to get into here. It feels like this could be a world tag team program for WrestleMania because Jey Uso showed up. We could be seeing, I think it could be the Usos versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory for the tag titles at Mania. I mean, that's a possibility. Of course, it's all dependent upon how Braun Breaker heals and if Seth freaking Rollins is clear to wrestle. It felt like a match disguised as a segment, and I think it could have been handled in a backstage vignette myself. So I'm not gonna go, dive too far into that. More backstage stuff, and then Jackie Redmond stood on the stage and introduced the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber match, Rhea Ripley. Io Sky was with her. Fresh off her victory inside the Elimination Chamber that cashed her ticket to WrestleMania 42 and a date with Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley addressed Jade in their showdown at the Showcase of the Immortals. After thanking Io Sky for helping to bring her out of a dark place and vowing to win the WWE Women's Championship for her former partner, Ripley stared intensely into the camera as if addressing Cargill directly and vowed to win the title in Vegas. The fire in Ripley's eyes directed toward Cargill reflected her real dislike of the current champion. And it's got a lot to do with the very heated social media exchange that was reported yesterday. Ripley versus Cargill.
And
Ripley
Florio.
versus Cargill. Yes, Paula, go ahead.
And Florio, with what I sent earlier today.
Yep. Oh, yes. And Ripley versus Cargill.
There's actually some real backstage heat with Jade Cargill.
Ripley versus Cargill. If they can manage not to tear each other apart before then, whether some agree with it or not, is a legitimate marquee match at WrestleMania. Now, if you saw the Elimination Chamber recap show that we did this past Saturday night, MF was not too happy about how this match came about. And then, of course, I sent him the report about the backstage, of course, with that Twitter beef that the two of them had. And yeah, so oh boy, I mean, I know MF may not have been too excited about it at first, but I think with all this stuff going around on social media, who knows? This might have just amped up the excitement a little bit. It just might. So, but
yeah, and plus the other thing is, and I know I wasn't on, and here's the thing too. It's a fresh feud.
That's right.
That's the thing too. I mean, I
didn't think about that at first.
I know people wanted Tiffany Stratton to win, but the thing was,
or even Alexa for a comeback run,
or that too. But some wanted Tiffany Stratton to win, but the thing is, they faced each other. How many times was it this past year? Was it 3 times?
I know 2 of them. That disaster of a match at SummerSlam. And then when Jade, basically dominated her on Saturday night's main event because Tiffy was injured going in.
And the thing is, I mean, if you do Tiffany and Jade again, you might get some people who would say
crowd fatigue. We talked about
not just crowd fatigue, but repetitiveness,
aka crowd fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a fresh feud, and now with this whole thing, it adds. I think I'm interested to see how this goes, but
Friday night.
we'll see.
Friday night on SmackDown, MF. Mommy's coming.
But the thing is, I mean, with the story I sent you guys today, that there's actually some real backstage heat with her.
Yeah,
with
Jay Cargill's got a lot of heat.
Yeah, and
that's not good.
And
That's
WWE, this was not plotted by WWE.
No. This is real. This is real recognizing real.
And I'll tell you what, Jay Cargill better be very careful right now.
She better watch her. She better check.
Because
she better check herself before she wrecks herself.
Because if she continues down this path,
Rhea's winning the title.
Rhea's going to win the title, and it may not end well for Jade. Her WWE career could be on thin ice.
Yeah, backstage heat. I mean, you got to watch yourself when it comes to that, because backstage heat has ruined a lot of careers.
Yeah, somebody better have a nice little talk with Jade Cargill right now and tell her to tone it down.
Will. I'm sure they will.
Because if she doesn't tone it down, she can kiss her WWE career goodbye.
Big trouble.
Because, I mean, I don't think WWE wants to deal with crap like this.
Oh, no. If any of us were working for them, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I damn sure wouldn't want any part of it. Nope.
Yeah, because I'll tell you this: if Jade continues this, even if after they do have a talk with her, I don't think Triple H. I think Triple H is not going to be afraid to pull the trigger and say, "Be gone."
And it could possibly send her back to AEW or somewhere else. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on this because
it's a developing situation.
So, because all I'll say is this, Jade, you better tone your attitude down. Because if you don't, your WWE career is done. It's finished. It's history. Because I don't think Triple H or anybody in ownership is going to want to deal with your crap.
Oh, no. Not at all. Not at all. But
word to the wise and straighten up. Because there's another saying, shape up
or ship out.
Ship out.
That's right.
Period. End of quotation, end of statement. It's yours, Florio.
Okay. But we'll keep an eye on it. Rhea and Io as a tag team looks to be done. Because obviously with this, Rhea's going to be exclusive to SmackDown. That's huge for their women's division. That's another big name for their women's division. So, and with this added element into it, anybody who was like, who cares about this match? This might have piqued the interest a little bit. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on the line. Dominic Mysterio defending against Penta. And the winner of the match in roughly 15 minutes and 40 seconds. And new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Penta wins the title. There's nothing more to say except MF. Hit us with those magic words, Monsoon.
Yes, history was made. Unprecedented crowning. Penta finally becomes a champion in WWE. But Anthony, you gotta kind of there's two people you gotta thank for this. One is Finn Balor, because Balor actually, there was a moment where
Dominic
if you
wanted
remember,
the ring bell. He wanted the hammer.
Dominic wanted the hammer from the ring bell. JD McDonough got it, and Finn was like, no. Dominic said he wanted to win this on his own. Do not interfere. We're supposed to be supporting him, our buddy. That he didn't want that, so let's not do it. The other thing is you can cut the belt in half and give the belt to Danhausen. Now, of course,
that's right.
Everybody's like, wait, what? Danhausen? What the hell? Okay, let's process this very quick. Backstage moment. Danhausen shows up and on Adam Pearce. And he talked about how he got massive ovation and cheers. Yeah, there was a few boos along the way. Danhausen, not a lot of people were excited for you, but he had demands. He had Demandsons, I think is how. No, Demandhausens is what he called it. He wanted a blimp. Okay. He wanted to be inducted into this year's WWE Hall of Fame. Good luck with that. He wanted his own personal camera guy. He wanted his own personal assistant. That might happen. He wanted the photo with Triple H, the pointing thing. Oh, by the way, he did get that. What one of the Danhausen things hasn't met. And the other thing was he wanted his face on the WWE production truck. I think that will happen eventually. Not yet, but eventually Danhausen's face will be on the WWE trucks, on the production truck. So that could actually happen too. And then he was like, oh, wait, what is it? He's like, why is this paper soggy? Oh, I fell into the toilet. Oh my God. So I started dying laughing. Adam Pearce tried to convince the Judgment Day. He acknowledges Finn, acknowledges Dom, doesn't even know JD McDonough's name. He doesn't. He's like, I don't like him. He's like, oh, that's a nice little thing. Looking at the Intercontinental title, he's like, yeah, well, look, I don't like you, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, he's like, why don't you get on out of here before you get yourself in trouble? And Danhausen's like, trouble? Oh, yeah? Okay. You are cursed. And he cursed Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Guess what, y'all? I knew this was coming. All my boys knew this was coming. The minute Danhausen puts you on a curse, you're screwed. You're gone. It's history. You can kiss that belt goodbye. And I hate to say this, but Dom, this might be the start of a major downfall for you, bro. Danhausen may have just ruined your life. Not only that, but guess what, boys? In about a week or so, there's a AAA Mega Campeonato fight on our hands where it's going to be Dominic Mysterio versus El Hijo de Vecino at Reyes de Reyes for the title, AAA. And on top of that, if Dominic loses that fight, he is banned from AAA. He's done. I hate to say this. If he doesn't kick that curse, he's losing the belt. He's getting kicked out of AAA. And then where do you go, Dom? Oh, yeah. This may be a start of a harbinger of doom for Dirty Dominic Mysterio. First off, Penta, felicitaciones, amigo. Congratulations. You deserve it. To be the Intercontinental Champion is awesome. First major title in WWE. Well-deserved, well-earned. We've been waiting for the moment for Penta to win a title, and my dudes, he did it. And he did it like a smooth operator. Nothing more to say. 3.5 stars. History made. Unprecedented crown. And Michael Bullock, how do you follow that, my friend?
I don't know how am I going to follow that after what you just did, Fletch. But, Fletch, you're forgetting something. He may be losing a lot of other things, but there's one thing he still has.
And that is?
And that is Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan.
Mm.
And let's also not forget, there's also the matter of, I think this continues the slow burn babyface turn for Finn Balor, which could lead to his eventual exile from the Judgment Day.
Yes,
it could.
Exactly.
It could. I mean,
took a big step last night.
Yeah, he took a major step. He took a major leap, no doubt about it in my mind. But
yeah, when he prevented JD McDonough from
handing Dominic the ring bell hammer.
That hammer. So that's another planting of that seed there. So we'll see as this continues. But yeah, congratulations, Penta. His first singles title in WWE, and he gets the Intercontinental title.
Awesome.
Awesome. I mean, one of the most prestigious titles in WWE history, and now it
Workman's
belongs
title,
to
baby.
Penta.
The workman's title, baby.
So, what was the time of the fall again, Florio?
1540.
Yeah, I'm going to give this about 3.5 stars on this one, so it's yours.
Yeah, special moment for Penta there, winning the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. As expected and rightfully so, the match was decided by Finn Balor and his decision not to get involved. This was the best call, as Penta has challenged for and lost matches for the Intercontinental Championship for the last year. With Finn Balor teasing his inevitable departure from Judgment Day, this was the perfect blending stories to get to that moment while also paying off the Luchador's journey. Great matchup here. Another 3.5 star effort. And of course, 2 matches announced for next Monday's Raw in Seattle. That 6-pack gauntlet with Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, Io Sky, Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez, and Ivy Nile, where the winner will get the first shot at AJ Lee in the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And of course, that huge Be a Man fight with Oba Femi and Rusev. Batten down the hatches for that. So, yeah, there's nothing more to say on that. So let's get to our final moment of the night here. For the first time since the first Raw after Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns appeared in the show closing segment. Before the OTC could speak, World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk cut him off with his own entrance. Punk reminded Roman of their history in Indianapolis, dating back to the Shield's debut in the city at the 2012 Survivor Series. OTC hit back later by claiming WWE brought Punk back to appeal to the quote-unquote 30 to 40-year-old virgins living in their parents' basements. Reigns took shots at Punk, claiming he was miserable and complaining backstage that his people rushed to tell him about it. He promised to beat Punk, take the title back, and send him packing with a retirement tour and a trip to NXT to get the next generation ready. The Best in the World wrapped the segment up with a furious retort, reminding Roman that he has no more backup, be it the Bloodline or the Shield. And at WrestleMania, he is going to bury Roman Reigns right next to his father.
Yikes!
Whoa.
Ouch!
Michael Bullock. Whoa. What says you on this?
You want to talk about a pipe bomb? That is one. I mean, CM Punk went back into the old school CM Punk, the one that when he was dropping those pipe bombs, and he was not afraid to go there.
Oh no!
And he did that right there. And
Sure
I'll
did.
tell you this right now, that Samoan community right now is probably furious with CM Punk. They're like, how dare you? How dare you say that? Saying that, oh, you're gonna bury Roman Reigns right next to his father. Oh man, if you thought the hype for their world title match at WrestleMania, I mean, you thought the hype was big already, this just took it to a whole new level. And I will tell you this right now, guys. This is now damn sure personal. I mean, it's one thing to go after Roman, but you say you're going to bury him next to his father? Oh, no, 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 no. That is an absolute no-no. I mean, you and I know, Florio, what the number one rule is when it comes to promos.
Not going there, not bringing up family.
And CM Punk did that. That is, oh man, what a promo. I mean, segment of the night, but Florio, you thought the hype for this match was already up there? It just got taken to a whole new level. Now this is damn sure personal.
I only have one small constructive criticism. It lacked the organic nature of the original promo segment and felt like an attempt at recreating that magic, but it was still an intense back and forth that saw each guy land some quality blows before that knockout line from Punk about Roman's father. Punk made it clear he is in Roman's head, and everything he has said to this point has been to take advantage of his emotions. The line about the late wild Samoan Sika only continued that game plan. This is still the only match of those already announced that feels like a genuine WrestleMania main event, and nothing about this changed that. So, segment of the night, I thought the first exchange last month, I thought that one was a smidgen better, but that's not to say that this wasn't good either. I mean, this was another very fun promo exchange, and I don't think we'll be getting Roman in Seattle, but I believe he will be there the following week on the 16th. But what I do know is he will be in Boston on the 23rd. And oh, by the way, he will be in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, at the end of this month on the 30th. And then he will also be on the Go Home show, Monday Night Raw's Go Home show for WrestleMania, April 13th at the Golden One in Sacramento. So, but my goodness, what a segment there, and yeah, that's exactly what I said. Now Michael Bullock and I, we did not have a Raw chat last night, but after I heard all that and he dropped the mic, yep, the first thing that came to my mind, Bullock, you nailed it. I said it out loud. Pipe bomb. Oh yeah, that was a pipe bomb and then some. This road, I mean, I told him F this during our Elimination Chamber recap show last Saturday. Bullock, you're hearing this for the first time. Up to this point, the road to WrestleMania, I said it, has basically, for the most part, been rather boring, if I'm going to be honest with you. But this is one of the few bright spots of this build to WrestleMania right here. This program here, this main event. There's nothing boring about this. So, and they added to it. So well done, gentlemen. Incredible. Maybe a little too personal, but you know, it is what it is. So, not much more. MF. A lot of people said that Roman won the first promo battle last month, but those same people said that Punk won this battle last night.
Oh yeah, Punk won it easy. This was not even close. But this was cinema. This was absolute epicness. I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. There's really nothing more for me to add on that you guys have not. So let's just move on and let's get into overall thoughts.
Yeah. CM Punk is the most important performer on the WWE roster on this road to WrestleMania, thanks to his status as a full-time worker and the World Heavyweight Champion defending against Roman Reigns in what will likely be the Night 2 main event. He continues to churn out some of his finest work to date, and in the main event promo with Roman, delivering the exclamation points of the segment, delivering a much-needed body blow of a promo, and turning the tide back into his favor in this war with the original tribal chief. On a night where there were plenty of solid outings, Punk once again proved why he is the best in the world. The follow-up to Elimination Chamber was a show with increased urgency and direction, and the result was a more focused and easier to watch broadcast. The segments that needed to deliver did, including the show closer and the show opener, involving Seth Rollins and The Vision, was great stuff. Everything in between was fine for what it was, and the result was a big upgrade from last week's show. I'm going to give this in excess of 7.5 to 8 out of 10. And we also crowned a new Intercontinental Champion, a very deserving one at that, in Penta. And Gunther and Dragon Lee with an incredible match. And then, of course, the announcement of Demolition going into the Hall of Fame. I mean, yeah, these are the kind of shows that WWE needs to produce, not just on Raw, but also on SmackDown as well, week in and week out. They gotta come out guns blazing, all starting last night and continuously all the way up until we get to April 18th and 19th at Allegiant. So, very good first show on what is now the official road to WrestleMania. Great start. 7.5 to 8. MF, your thoughts?
7.5 to 8 out of 10 is my rating as well. Solid show. Really nothing more to add. Bullock, quick thought, and we get to the NXT.
Yeah, 7.5 to 8 for me as well. I mean, you guys pretty much said what you said, so let's quickly get into NXT.
Saturday is Vengeance Day, but tonight's go-home show still featured some championship action. And let's take a look at what happened on tonight's show. It started initially with a victory lap promo segment from the new North American champion, Miles Bourne. But he was interrupted by Ethan Page. And it actually led into an impromptu return match for the North American Championship. Miles Bourne defending against Ethan Page. And the winner of the match in 7 minutes and 3 seconds, and still the North American champion, Miles Bourne. Bourne's promo, short and sweet, and getting right into an impromptu title bout was definitely an interesting way to start the show. These two work so well together, so it's not surprising that WWE put them back in the ring so quickly. It might not have been as good as their match last week, but it was an entertaining way to get the show going. And Ethan running through his accomplishments was a reminder of how successful he has actually been in NXT. A lot of people wrote him off as an AEW cast-off, but he has been one of the best parts of NXT since he arrived. And you notice the picture-in-picture replay box was kept on the screen for several seconds after the commercial was over. But best I can go here is 2.5 stars. But what made this? But as I give it to you, MF, what made this match very unique was that both men wrestled this match in street clothes, not in their traditional in-ring gear. They wrestled this thing in street clothes.
Yeah, it kind of prompted. This is that unpredictability, and I actually like it because this was the true term of impromptu. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't scheduled. It kind of made it feel like they were there. They were talking. They wanted to fight. Let's fight. That's how you get it done. So no, this was a unique way of doing it. 2.5 to 3 is my rating, and Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to give it about 2.5 to 3 as well for this. I mean, I thought it was a solid matchup here. I mean, no surprise with the outcome, so nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
Then we had a promo segment. Blake Monroe out after the break for a promo before getting interrupted by Jada Parker for a face-to-face. Monroe said Parker needs her because it brings more spotlight to her. As expected, the crowd gave Parker a warm welcome when she came out. She said Monroe thinks wrestling revolves around her, but she is really just insecure. Parker ended up pushing Monroe until she snapped and attacked her, but Ms. Parker sent her out of the ring with relative ease. Not much to this segment, but that's actually a good thing. This feud is simple, and this segment did everything it needed to do in just a few minutes. And I believe it'll be interesting to see how Monroe does as a babyface eventually. She's comfortable as a heel, but it might be hard to get the crowd on her side. But later in the show, they came back out, but we'll address that because it coincided with the ending of another one of the matches here. Women's speed tournament matchup. We had, for me and MF, two of our personal favorite baby girls here. For me, it's Ren Sinclair. I mean, Ren Sinclair, and in her corner, someone that MF is very high on, the Evolve Women's Champion, Kendall Gray. And Ren Sinclair squared off against Nikita Lyons in a speed tournament match. And Ren Sinclair won that match in 2 minutes and 56 seconds via submission. So next week on NXT, it will be Ren Sinclair versus Thea Hale. And the winner of that match will then go on to Houston in 2 weeks, on St. Paddy's Day in 2 weeks. That winner will then challenge Fallon Henley for the Women's Speed Championship. So, happy for Ren. I mean, she just comes across so damn likable, like a girl next door, you know? That nice girl. And that's why I've taken a liking to Ren Sinclair and yeah, so very but we always say it. The biggest issue with these speed matches is that the superstars are in such a rush that some moves end up looking bad or worse, not even connecting. Both women brought a lot of energy to the ring, but the match itself was relatively forgettable. And Ren Sinclair, Thea Hale next week for the right to challenge Fallon Henley for that Speed Women's title in 2 weeks. After a break, Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame had one final segment before Vengeance Day. Heavily produced backstage segment. It had mood music, several camera cuts, and a dollhouse set up for Tatum Paxley. While both of them did fine with the material they were given, the segment felt unnecessary. No new ground was tread, and it felt exactly like exchanges they have had before. On the plus side, both women have developed into charismatic personalities. They just weren't given any interesting material to work with tonight. Then there was a vignette, Kalani Jordan. Now, as we all know, Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice will be squaring off at Vengeance Day in an NXT Underground match. There was a video of Kalani Jordan getting ready, and she had a special trainer. That trainer, none other than the submission magician herself, Shayna Baszler, one of the most dominant NXT Women's Champions of all time. Hey, that'll definitely bode well for Kalani Jordan going into that match. And we finally have something of relevance here. 6-man tag team matchup. All 3 members of the Vanity Project, the Evolve Men's Champion Jackson Drake, and the new NXT Tag Team Champions Swipe Right, Ricky Smokes, and Brad Baylor. They went up against Hank and Tank and Shiloh Hill. Shiloh Hill and Hank and Tank win the match in 13 minutes and 46 seconds. NMF, it was Shiloh Hill pinning the Evolve Men's Champion Jackson Drake. So who knows? Maybe that could put Shiloh in line for an Evolve Men's title shot down the line, provided that Jackson Drake gets by his title defense tomorrow night against Cappuccino Jones on Tubi.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big question. Is what's that gonna look like? I don't know. We'll see. This is about 3.25, 3.5 stars. Solid matchup. Really nothing more to add. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this about
13:46 was the time of the fall.
3.25, 3.5 for this one. I mean, it was a solid 6-man here. I mean, yeah, no surprise about the outcome with this one. So it's yours, Florio.
I'll tell you what, Shiloh Hill meshed well with Hank and Tank, but it felt like the 2 big men in this match sold a little too much for their smaller opponents. The match should still be competitive, but Hank and Tank should work more like powerhouses, especially against these smaller guys. They got a long time to work, so the match had a lot of action across a few segments. Everybody got a chance to shine, but it felt like this was designed for Shiloh Hill to be the standout. After the match was over, Blake Monroe came out on the announce table, and she challenged Jada Parker to a street fight at Vengeance Day before Jada came out and they started brawling. So Jada Parker, Blake Monroe, Vengeance Day, street fight. There you go, guys. All right. And as far as that match was concerned, 3.5 stars for me, teetering on 3 3/4, one of the few bright spots of this show. Let's see. Dark State. Osiris Griffin was found backstage having been attacked by Tony D. It led to Dion Lennox going in the ring to call him out for a fight. Tony D addressed him from the stands and said Dark State tried to end his career, but all they did was made him more dangerous. Lennox said he would be waiting for Tony in the parking lot on Saturday. So it looks like Dion Lennox and Tony D will be squaring off at Vengeance Day. NXT Women's Championship on the line. The champion, Jacy Jayne, with Fatal Influence in her corner, defending against Zarya. The fight gets thrown out in 10 minutes and 53 seconds because of Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca laying out both Zarya and Jacy with a double soul snatcher. It gets thrown out in 10:53. Michael Bullock, there's nothing left to say here except I think we're looking at a triple threat with JC, Zarya, and Soul for that women's title down the line. Maybe Vengeance Day, maybe on one of those special shows coming up.
I don't see it happening at Vengeance Day. I mean, especially with it being this weekend. I think it could happen somewhere down the line. Maybe at Stand and Deliver. I mean, that could be the case, but yeah, look, it's a 3-star match, but I'm bumping it down to 2.5 because of the fight getting thrown out, and I could see this coming. I mean, especially after what happened last week, you knew that Sol Ruca was going to get payback not just on JC Jane, but on Zarya for costing her the match. So nothing left for me to say except 3 stars, but I'm bumping it down to 2.5 because of what happened.
Agreed. Pretty competitive match, but the outcome was too easy to see coming. With both women being heels now, the crowd didn't seem to have a favorite. Soul showed up, hit the Soul Snatcher to both women at once to cause the referee to throw the match out. And we're looking at a 3-way down the road. The Vengeance Day card is pretty stacked, so I think they might be leaving that out. It could be that show in Houston on March 17th, or they could even do it in the theater in Madison Square Garden on the 31st. Or like Bullock said, they could ride this thing out until Vengeance Day. Stand and Deliver if they wanted to. So we'll see what happens. So 2.5 to 3 for this. So MF, this fight gets thrown out in 10:53. Sol Ruca, double Soul Snatcher to JC and Zarya.
2 3/4 of a star. That's my rating for it. A little disappointed. I really felt like we could have gone more than that, but it is what it is. Florio, go.
And then we closed it out with Ricky Saints. So the show ended with Ricky Saints holding a concert just like Joe Henry, but he clearly didn't know how to play the guitar. He kept finding excuses not to continue his song. Henry showed up and hit him with a guitar to end the show. We're not going to dive into that, so we're just going to go right into the overall review here. As the go-home show before Vengeance Day this weekend, for the most part, it did a decent job of hyping all of the matches while also featuring some somewhat fun action on the show. Miles Bourne and Ethan Page's surprise title fight was the biggest highlight of the night, but Zarya and JC Jane were also having a good showing before Ruca showed up to interfere. This brand has been very hot and cold in recent months, but it feels like the show has settled back into a regular pattern again. And I'll throw out that B word once again. For the most part, this show was, I hate to say, but in parts boring. With the exception of the opener, the 6-man tag, and the women's title. Those are the only things you should go out of your way to see if you're pressed for time. Everything else, you can basically skip it. Unless you're fans of the skippable moments, but it is what it is. Middle of the road kind of show. This is about a 5.5 for me. So somewhat boring show. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, nothing to write home about. 5.5. You can make an argument maybe for 6, but yeah, 5.5 is the right rating. So, Bullock, you got final say.
Yeah, 5 for me as well. I mean, yeah, it was somewhat of a little bit of a boring show. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Let's wrap it up, Florio, and set up the future content.
And here is the future content. We will next be with you on Thursday night, as we are going to preview the 2026 World Baseball Classic. We'll run down the pools, who we think will ultimately win it all. That will be on Thursday night. And then Friday night, following SmackDown, it will be the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF. We got TNA, we got SmackDown, and we'll be previewing NXT Vengeance Day. And then that'll probably set us up to do the recap on Saturday or Sunday. We'll let you know how that works out. It'll definitely be sometime this weekend for sure. Either after the show Saturday. It starts at 7, so we'll see what happens with that. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again. Ridiculously Raw, Monday Night Raw, NXT, and that's that. So that is it. So until Thursday night for our World Baseball Classic preview show, this is Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom Michael Bullock. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, fortune for, and of course we cannot, and we certainly cannot forget our first lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson. And until then, of course, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, fortune for style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days, and until Thursday night for our World Baseball Classic preview show. You have been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, when anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.